Now I show you here the next picture that is in the illustration of Jung's article on the nature of dreams. He brings here the dream of Nebuchadnezzar that is reported, and we know that the prophet Daniel, who is also mentioned in the Quran, had been able to explain to Nebuchadnezzar his dream, and that is something I don't want to go now into in detail, but this is what Jung wanted to transport with this picture, is the fact that dreams have been since ages, since the existence of human beings, something important, especially for kings, popes, imams, and so on and so forth. You can find that in the literature about dreams. What I always regret is there is no encyclopedia of the dreams of humanity, but we have encyclopedias about outer facts that are filling libraries all over the world. But when it comes to the dreams and the knowledge of the dreams, we have little research of that, and that is still lacking, and it will come in due time. I am positive about that. This is then the next illustration that we find in Jung's article, also together with a caption where Jung points out the healing function that dreams used to have in the temples of Asclepios, and especially for Egyptians, we know that the temple of Dendera, for instance, has been a major place where people were asked for their dreams for healing aims or for healing purposes, to find out what is the reason for a disease. What is the reason why people are having all sorts of problems? And for that, Jung was pointing out with this picture that there is a long tradition of that the dreams belong to the gods, belong to the house of God, belong to the temple, to the mosque, or to the church. Whatever you want to name it, it is the house of God that is addressed with this picture. And then you see a picture that is really outstanding, and I am sorry that I found that only recently. You know, this is a picture that we find in Jung's article, where he has a caption where you see it says here is the sick king or the old king, and here is something mysterious appearing, and it is said it is he has a dream. Now, this is said it is a book that is in the possession of Professor C.G. Jung in Zurich, Küsnacht, as you can read down here. And thanks to a dream, I have bought all the alchemical books that were published since my time of youth. Since I was about 23 or 24, I collected all the alchemical books that were published because I had a dream that I should copy the library of C.G. Jung. The alchemical library, I should copy that, and so I bought that. Also this, I don't know, can you see this photocopy? Yeah, you can see it now. Here is the photocopy of the picture, and here is a poem that goes along with this picture. And thanks to my buying this book also, I can now read you the poem, and you will be surprised when you see what is in this picture, because it's in German, it's in old German printed, and it is said it's a dream or a vision that this king has now, this king in the bed who is lying in bed, and he has a vision of a handsome man is standing here at night. He appeared to me. How beautiful I saw him in front of me, with limbs so nice. And I tried to translate the German as good as I can. Now it continues. His whole body was there, surrounded by a green coat. It's in bold letters. I will tell you why. A golden crown, uninjured, was on his superb head. On it was a shining star, enjoying to illuminate darkness. I was wondering who this might be. He said, "Rise up and follow me." Ha ha ha. As simple as that. Wonderful, a wonderful poem, and you could not figure out why he was giving this picture and this caption in a very short way. But now going back to this picture, I can show you some details. Now you see, he has a dream or a vision. And in his vision, he saw this man that is depicted here, this robust, handsome man. And he has an uninjured crown on his head. It was not, we say, when a king is no more really a king, his crown is mutilated, or his crown is no more perfect, no more round. He's no more representing the wholeness of his people. You have that in many fairy tales where there are all of a sudden two kingdoms that fight each other and things like that. And above this crown is a star. And for Egyptians, it might be not so far-fetched to say, well, this is exactly also the star that is named the Basol, or that is named the inner guiding principle. And you know that in the Old Kingdom, the king tried to reach the never disappearing stars around the northern star, around the North Star. And this is the star that the dream is saying, very simple, rise up and follow me. That was the answer, because the dreamer was bold enough to ask, and that is what we have to do in life. We have to ask, why the hell did you send me this or that problem? And then you will get an answer, Dios mediante, or inshallah. Now, this green-coated man might remind you also of this god Osiris, who is here represented as the one who triggers off the problem with the serpent biting the old king in his leg. And he is now sick and needs to be restored. He dies from being bitten by the serpent. And you know what is his? Who is this here? That is the adept, the alchemist, who produced the divine water with which he can rejuvenate or make the old king resurrect again. So you have, in a nutshell, in one picture, you have depicted the whole problem or the whole work of alchemy. And you might remember the picture I showed you of that Jung published in his article, where the dream allegory appeared with one hand the ivory pole, and with the other hand he was having the horn filled with blessing, filled with all that is a boon to human beings. And that is alchemy, the boon. So you see, this green, the man with the green coat, is an archetypal image. It is not an image that is just invented, but it was a revelation for this dead king. He dreamt, or he had a vision of this man who appeared to him. And here, this is this man with the green coat and with the crown and with the basul above. So you see the wisdom of the dreams and the wisdom of this poem that I showed to you is just simply amazing. Now I will tell you a dream of a young man. It's a dream that is, I don't know in which year it appeared, but it was a dream of a young man who had this following short dream that is suitable for an illustration that is not too complicated for you, because I know you might not be professionals in dream interpretation, and I want to give you an introduction. I want to give you just an appetizer, so to speak. Now, this is the dream. I meet a mysterious dark lady who is followed by a bow and arrow. I cannot understand how this is possible, and dare to ask her from where she is coming. She answers, from the Ivory Coast. That was all of the dream, nothing more. That was the whole dream. Now, I ask you, isn't that a mysterious dream? Isn't that a dream where you can really be knocked out by... have you ever met a lady who was followed by a bow and an arrow? I guess not. And what did the young man do? He learned that one has to try to make pictures of dreams. And he was not an artist, so he made a picture, and he made just this lady as it appeared to him in the dream. And he wrote a little French thing, Je suis à toi. I belong to you. Je suis à toi. And I can tell you, he was moved to tears when he painted this picture and when she told him, Je suis à toi. Now, what do we do now with such a dream and such a picture? And I tried now to relax because I'm always very much afraid. Am I doing justice to this mysterious other world? And am I able to communicate this to you, now we do what we have learned here with this circumambulation. And you will recognize that when I have now this dream again here, I just make numbers to these parts that are in need of amplification, of familiarizing. When we try to make associations and amplifications, that is an effort, a little bit mechanical, as Jung said, in order to familiarize ourselves with that mysterious otherness. So I meet, and then I put a little point, a little one. I meet a mysterious dark lady who was followed by, and now comes the two, bow and arrow. And I cannot understand how this is possible. And number 3, dare to ask her from where she is coming. She answers, from the Ivory Coast. So you see how I would put that in my dream book. In my dream book, I have always to the left side, I write down the dream, and to the right side, I write down the context, and then my first hypothesis of an interpretation, and then a counter hypothesis if necessary, or if needed, or whatever. And then I write a summary. So we have now these 4 points, like in this overview here. We have the 4 points. The first point is the mysterious dark lady. Now we understand from the fact that she is from the Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast is a country in Africa. I've never been there, and I don't know much about Ivory Coast country, but it is called a country, Ivory Coast. It's very close to Western Africa, and it's quite mysterious. And the discovery of the anima and the animus by C.G. Jung was given, and it is certainly an aspect of the anima. I mean, it was a young man who was dreaming it, and the anima was the inner female side of a man that Jung named the anima, the soul, and it is a wording that has become general in depth psychology, and the anima is, so to speak, that inner lady, the inner mysterious otherness, and we will come back to it at the end of the dream. And now the miracle was that this lady was followed by a bow and an arrow. And, as far as our daily experience goes, bows and arrows don't have feet to walk behind our human form. So the question given by the self, the answer to be given by the adopt is the bow and arrow, and the bow and arrow allows human beings not to get too close to a mammoth or to an elephant or to a lion or a tiger or any animal of prey that is dangerous to human beings. And so the bow and arrow was a huge cultural development of humanity, because with bow and arrow, humans were able to shoot something dangerous without being hurt from a distance. They could keep a safe distance to something extremely dangerous. And now it continues. I dare to ask her. To dare to ask, that is the crucial thing in depth psychology, that we ask questions. We ask, why does this symptom come to me, for instance? Why do I have this hysteric symptom? Why do I have this sleeplessness? Why do I have this sexual problem? Why do I have this or that that makes me seem to be abnormal, that makes me to think that I am crazy or whatever? That is the question that God has given me, because I did not make this symptom. God has given me this symptom, and I have to find out what it is. What is the answer to it? So consciousness is needed to relate to the unconscious. And if we think that dreams are already pointing to the solution, and we have only to understand dreams and then we live happily, they underestimate that consciousness was created in human evolution as the last thing. Consciousness is the newest achievement of human evolution. And it's not for nothing that consciousness has been created. It has been created to give an answer to what is to be known. There is a very strange little parenthesis I would like to insert quickly. I remember when I was flying from Ankara to Urfa, that was it's in eastern Turkey. I was flying there with, and there was a Muslim medical doctor sitting beside me. He found out that I'm a dream interpreter, and to make a long story short, he asked me whether he might tell me his dream that he had just this morning. I said, of course, please tell me. And he told me he was a very pious Muslim. He had a dark spot on his forehead here, you know, like pious Muslims sometimes have. And he dreamt he was having a thicker the day before, the night before. He was just attending a thicker in his hometown where he was spending the night, and he was taking the morning flight to Urfa in eastern Turkey. So he said, I dreamt that after this thicker, I dreamt in the morning that I had a vision of Allah. Allah was appearing to me and pointing out, I don't need this thicker. He pointed to the thicker. I don't need this thicker. I need you. And he pointed to the dreamer. Now you can imagine, for a pious Muslim to make a confession that he dreamt of that Allah needs the human being, that is, of course, blasphemy, and it is, of course, not to be told. And he was happy that he could told a Christian, but he was getting confident because it was just Ramadan, and it was an evening flight, and at 6 o'clock it was time for the before 6 o'clock it was time to still observe the Ramadan, and to wait till iftar was going then afterwards. And he was still happy that I respected Ramadan as well. He felt that I must be really a pious man, that I also respected Ramadan. So he told me this dream. And then I told him, look, this is a most important dream, not only for you, but maybe for other ones too. Because although we say 100 times that Allah is Almighty in this all whatever the 99 names of Allah, but here Allah points that He is in need. I need you. So Allah reveals that He wants and needs the human being as well. and the human being must give answer to the questions that Allah gives to us, because God gives us questions, and we need to give answers to the unconscious, to God. Now, if you want to know more about the Ivory Coast, I can just tell you that yesterday I went to dance because I was so nervous. I decided I go dancing Lindy Hop. I went to dance because and Regina, my wife, said, "Please don't come home. You are always impossible in front of a lecture. Just don't come home." And I said, "Okay, I go dancing." And I could dance with a lady, not from the Ivory Coast, but a lady from Benin, Nigeria, and both her parents came from Nigeria, and she spoke perfectly Swiss German and was a wonderful dancer. And I asked her, "Do you know Benin?" And she said, "Yes, of course." Benin was the kingdom of Nigeria before the English came and conquered Benin and took away all those treasures from the palace, and they were sold all over the world. And even our museum here in Zurich has some of this art from the kingdom of Benin. And I told her, "Well, you have to come to Zurich to see that there is an exhibition about this problem that the colonialists have robbed all these treasures and this art from the different places." And she reminded me very much of this lady, of this dream, because I was working on this dream and I thought it was a nice coincidence. Anyway, she reminded me also of this incredible story that you can read. You find it on the internet. You Google for "she," that is the title of the book, and the author of the book is Henry Rider Haggard, and it's a perfect description of the anima also of this dream. And you can really learn a lot from this book, because she is this personification of this mysterious dark lady. And this book, "She," it's one of the most sold books in the world. It is an incredible thing. I didn't know that. I Googled that and I found out that it's translated into 44 languages. And it has been sold millions and millions of times. So I warmly recommend you this book. But now we have to go on. Now let me see. I want to just give you some nice amplifications of how the bow and the arrow can be applied also to shoot at the dangerous sides of this poisonous serpent. It's like the Apophis serpent in the Amduat or whatever, who wants to attack the humanness of the author, but it belongs to him, and you can see how beautiful it is depicted in this picture. Pictures. Here is a Hindu picture. A Hindu picture I brought back from Bali when I was a youngster looking for orientation. I was sleeping under this picture. I had my sleeping bag below that, and when I left the man who was hosting me with his family, when I left, I said, "That is so beautiful, this picture." And then this man asked, I had some nice trousers and a nice pullover that I got in Japan from a friend. And he said, "I would love to have these trousers and this pullover. May I have that?" And then I said, "Of course, you have it." And he said, "What would you like to have?" And I told him, "Well, if I dare to have a wish, I would love to have this picture. And he said, no problem. He rolled it up and he gave it into my backpack, and I went with it to Singapore, and from there I could send it back home, because Singapore was a place where parcels were safely ordered or put on the post, and so it is now in my office hanging. And you see here you have Rama with the bow and the arrow, and here you see burning Sri Lanka, where the wife of Rama, Sita, was imprisoned and robbed by this demon. This is the demon Ravana, and he was attacked by different arrows that he could all destroy, and they tried to be able to kill Ravana. And you see he's even surrounded by a serpent, a very dangerous one. And you see Rama, he has a bow and arrow, and finally he would conquer and free Sita, the anima, the lady. And it's a myth that is still alive in Hindu society in India. And you know that Muslims and Hindus are fighting each other in India in a very crucial and most dangerous way. But it is a myth that has also to be understood symbolically, as we have it in this picture. And it is hanging right on the other room where I have my desk and where I work with people. It reminds me always, all the time, of that we have to use bow and arrow. And you see here another book. It is the first translation of this book, Mal Waraki wal Ard al-Najmiya. That's a book by Muhammad ibn Umail that is now appearing for the first time in English this year. We have been working on it, Salva and myself, for 34 years. And we have translated again and again, circular distillation. We have translated the translation again and again and again and again, till we were happy with the translation. It will come out in English this year. And you see on the title page of this alchemical book that is called De Chemia and Senioris Antiquissimi Philosophy. Senioris is a Latin name for Muhammad ibn Umail. It means the Shaykh, it is the sage. And it has been a crucial image all the time. Here you see the adept. He has a bow and an arrow, but in fact it is the lady who is knowing how to shoot properly. And here you see another alchemical picture where you see the adepts shooting to the question that God points to them. They shoot with bow and arrow. It is a crossbow that is the national emblemata of Switzerland. We have our national hero. He had a crossbow to shoot the tyrant. And here you see that death and resurrection, death here and resurrection like the corn, is the myth of alchemy. And you can also see here another image of the bow and arrow, and you see that Luna, the unconscious, the goddess of the night, is showing shooting the old king who has to die and to be resurrected in the morning again as the new sun, as the new king. And you see that already in ancient time we had bow and arrow, and here is something to remind the Swiss people also that we were also having a highly arrogant and an arrogant attitude towards the primitive people. Here you see that is the advertisement of the exhibition of some indigenous people from Fireland, from South America, who were brought to Switzerland to be exhibited, and they could be seen from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and from 1 to 5 in the afternoon. And you see, we are not any better, but what Switzerland had to learn is to be neutral. We cannot blame that the British were gangsters and colonialists, and we were the good ones. They were thinking they are doing good, and we could not say that my ancestors were gangsters, that they exhibited these indigenous people. We are not any better. We have all the evil in ourselves also, and this makes us very humble, and we have to realize that we have to become more humble, especially the people in the West who always think they are better. And you know the book of Said about Orientalism and so on. So we have to become humble again and see that we are not any better, as Jung pointed out so many times. And here you see it goes really back to Sekhmet. You see, that is a picture I could find in Kharga when I was traveling with Anne, with more than this lady who was financing these pictures of the different levels of consciousness till the Neolithic time. We were together in Kharga, and we saw this picture, and I was highly moved when I discovered Sekhmet with the eye on her head. That means she is the master of becoming conscious, and she is on the serpent, and the serpent is contained in this square, and she has the bow and arrow, and she is an answer to this mysterious black lady of this man whose dream I showed you. And so you can see the archetypal dimension of the soul. The dreamer had, of course, not the foggiest idea of alchemy, of pharaonic culture, of Sekhmet, or of anything of that. He was just having this dream, and as Jung then could discover that we have similar structures in our psyche, as we have all similar structures in our body. I have also 2 hands, as you all witness. I have 2 hands, and usually 2 eyes, and 1 nose, and hopefully 1 tongue. So you see, we have all similar structures, like the unconscious has similar structures. And we have, just like it is said in the dream of this picture that I showed you, of Jung's picture, where the man said, "Raise up and follow me." And here it is the lady. She is the lady who gives direction. And you see this beautiful picture. He has the lamp here, the lamp of his little consciousness. And he has to find the footprints of Mother Nature that will guide him to be able to follow her. It's a wonderful picture. A guide picture. You find it also in interpretation of picture interpretation in the books that I mentioned before the break. Now a practical example. Are you still with me? Is it okay to continue?
Yes, we are.
Yes,
Good.
yes, we are with you.
All right. Well, it is strong tobacco, I have to tell you, but it is fascinating, and I don't get tired either, although I have to speak in English. Okay, look. Now, a practical example of the inner archaeology. It's a recent dream. I had this dream on the 3rd of June, 2024. That was last summer. Now in this dream, I am on the lake of Zurich, and I hear about an excavation of the Tower of Sigeung in Bollingen. In this way, the inner and outer archaeology are confirmed as being central. And this is still the dream. This led directly to an earlier dream of mine, where I saw the upper rainbow, which was completed by the lower rainbow under the earth, completing the upper rainbow to a circle. There was like a lower rainbow down under the earth was somehow visible, but you know, the dream spirit is a wonderful magician. You can see things you cannot see in daylight. So this was the dream. I was, of course, baffled. What to do with this? Now, this dream reminded me of an earlier dream of mine, where I saw that below Sigeung's tower in Bollingen, there was a pharaonic tomb with the pictures of the Amduat being like the roots of this building. It was a dream long ago. That was a dream I had when I was asked by the youngest daughter of Sigeung, that was Helene Hörny. She became over 100 years old. And when I was a student of agriculture at that time, and I was allowed to have a little planting lot in her garden, and then where I could grow my vegetables and so on. And she asked me whether I would... Say it again. I did not understand. Somebody was saying something.
I think someone was talking and he has to be on mute.
Okay. Anyway, I was asked by Helene Hörny whether I would be assistant to a dream seminar that she was giving in Bollingen. And those of you who don't know what is Bollingen, that it was a retreat of Sigeung, and you can read it up in Dr. Alia's translation book, Translation of Memories, Dreams, Reflections, and then you will find out what Bollingen is all about. So it's a wonderful motivation for you to read Jung's book on his memories and his dreams and his reflections. Anyway, I was reminded by this dream, I was reminded of this earlier dream that I had long ago when I was still a student of agriculture. And in this dream, I saw this below Sigeung's tower in Bollingen, that there was a pharaonic tomb with pictures of the Amduat being like the roots of this building. Just imagine at that time, I didn't know that yet. It was way before I was, the first time in Egypt, I was in 66. I was in Egypt, coming back from India. I could have a stopover in Egypt, and I stayed 2 weeks in Egypt. But that was all. I was up in Luxor also. I could go with my bicycle. I could go to the Valley of the Kings, and that was still a dirt road to the Valley of the Kings. I remember very well. And that was in 66, long ago. But here now in this dream, you just imagine, I was reminded of this dream where Jung was building this tower. Just imagine Jung was building this tower for his retreat, and he he imprisoned himself on free will in this tower. Here you can see Jung. And you can see this first tower. And it is built like a fortress. You cannot even squeeze yourself through a window here. Even if you would want to get away with these iron bars, you wouldn't be able to squeeze yourself into that room. So people were in the surrounding were thinking that he must have gold inside. And I remember one of the sons of Helen Hurney was telling me the story that when Jung was once receiving the postman here, and the postman delivered the post. At that time, it was still working, the post, and he delivered the post. Then Jung was saying to the postman, could you wait for a moment? I still have some letters upstairs that I would like to give you, that you bring them to the post office, that you can send them off. And the postman said, yeah, of course. And then when he was coming down from the upper floor where he was sleeping and living and writing, very often he was writing upstairs. When he came back, you know what the postman said? Well, when I saw this tower from inside, I was shocked. It is a living place where you are cooking and where you are having your tools and all that. Because you know what people are saying here in the village? They say, well, Professor Jung must have accumulated gold inside because he has made a fortress out of this. They were thinking it is all filled with gold, and now I see it is not the case. Anyway, now this dream goes, let me see what comes next. You know, he built his tower like a fortress. And in Memories, Dreams, and Reflections, you can read that he did not translate the word donjon. And this is a donjon, and that means it's a fortified house. And the fortified house means that you could not easily enter that house. It had a fence around, and from above you could pour down tar if somebody wanted to insert the house or do mischief. And so that is a donjon, and that is a tower where he tried to really defend himself. And now when we come to, I don't see, yeah, here is the Amduat. Those of you who have been working with the Amduat know that it is a book for the afterlife, and it's a book where the sun god travels through the hours of the night, and he meets the dangers of the night. He meets the Apophis serpent that is here by the Selkis, by the scorpion goddess, analyzed, put into parts, and in order that the bark can travel on. And the whole thing is to restore the eyesight of the solar eye and the lunar eye. The two eyes must work together, and that is the Amduat. And that is the amazing thing that down below this tower. Oh, sorry. Let me see. No, gosh, I want to. Yeah, now it works. Yeah, down below this tower, the entrance into the tomb was about here, but it was, of course, Jung has built 3 more towers around here, and if you read the book of Dr. Alia, you will see how this Bollingen Tower has grown to quite a fortress, and with the stone of Jung in front of the tower, and It is absolutely marvelous, and it is shocking to see that this tower has an archaeology down below. It goes right to the pharaonic time. And when I was having this block course with the Americans to learn about pharaonic Egypt, they made me afterwards a gift. They made a carpet where each participant contributed a piece of it, and then they were sewing it together, and they were writing on the back the towers. No, the stone of the tower are the same stones as the stones of the Egyptian temples. But they didn't know my dream. They didn't know anything, but they had, this was a gift of them. And I wrote that, I gave them my echo. I said, for me, it is like a flying carpet. It is in my back room. It is covering my bed. And I take my siesta usually on this flying carpet, on this wonderful carpet that they gave me as a gift after the block course, because they were so enchanted by the temples of Egypt and by the pharaonic culture. And now I would like to go on. You see, I can only give you a few hints about this archetypal dream, but the thing that I would like to give you also here is something that is, it's also in the Quran, but it's also in the Bible, the Great Flood. The Great Flood, and then after the Great Flood, God was asked if he would just from period to period just destroy humanity again with a great flood. And then God, who saw the destruction of his anger and rage, he said, I promise not to do that again by a rainbow. And he said, the rainbow should be testimony that I will keep my promise. Don't worry, I will not destroy humanity again by a flood. But now I saw when we had this seminar on dream interpretation in Bolligen, in Young's Tower, I saw that there was a lower rainbow completing the rainbow of the upper circle by this lower circle. It was a complete circle in this way. And I could not understand it at that time, but I don't understand it today. But I have a hypothesis. It could be that also the goddess of the earth, the rejected feminine, who is angry with us, as we know from all the fairy tales of the witches, where the beautiful women become witches. And this is reported that it could still happen today, that women could become witches. And you could believe it or not, whatever. But I think it is true. It can be also, men can become very witch-like beings. And but it would mean then the redemption of Mother Earth. If Mother Earth is redeemed, she might send us the lower part of the rainbow, that Mother Earth is not going to destroy humanity. This is what could happen, a possibility that we could be very grateful for in our crazy world of today. Anyway, one could write a whole book about this dream, but I just wanted to give you an appetizer of how deep such inner archaeology can go. And it is really the inner archaeology that is now to be practiced more and more. And let me now see what next pictures we have. This is now the tower. This is a donjon. And this is to give you an idea of the development and evolution of human consciousness. You see, we have here you have point zero for Christians. Here you have the beginning of the lunar calendar of the Muslims. Somewhere here you have then our 2000 our time, and you can see the flow. You know, it's like a river that is flowing, and you see Pharaonic culture has been such a long culture, and the written human history has basically taken place in ancient Egypt. We have the most detailed history of mankind in Egypt, some in Sumeria, some in China, but very little compared to the treasure of Pharaonic Egypt. And you have then Göbekli Tepe. I am just now on the way of publishing a book on the Göbekli Tepe that was discovered some 30 years ago. It's the most ancient temple of the world. It is more than 10,000 years old. And if you Google for Göbekli Tepe, you will find some miracles. And mankind as gatherer and hunters were also in Göbekli Tepe still there. It is the Neolithic revolution here. But I can't go into the details, otherwise we would be here together still at midnight. Let me go and bring the image of the world. That is a pharaonic image of the world. Beautiful summary of the inner and the outer world. And what I would like to draw your attention to is the publication of an Egyptian, Okasha El-Dali, Egyptology, the Missing Millennium, Ancient Egypt and the Medieval Arabic Writers. It's a book that I highly recommend, and it's a shame that it is even in European modern research work, I don't find the quotation of this book. They just simply ignore still researchers from Egypt or from other countries than this European and American researchers. It's a shame, but I hope that we can correct it in time. And you can see that here you can see still these blurred hieroglyphs. At the time, of course, Arabic writers couldn't understand the hieroglyphs anymore, so they just put some fake hieroglyphs and just wanted to illustrate that the root of it all is the pharaonic culture. And then all that alchemy is about is that we can learn, like this king here, can ride on a scorpion. This is really the secret of alchemy, that we learn to ride the scorpion. And you see how close the sting of the scorpion can be, but he is safely riding this scorpion, but he should never become tired and lean back, otherwise he will be killed and pop off. And here you see further manuscripts, the reception of alchemy in the European world. You have here the great vision of Ibn Umayl that we are going just to publish now this year. That is a part of this great vision of Ibn Umayl with the two birds. And then you see the alchemist down below. He's lying flat on the belly, like in ancient Egypt, those who were prostrating in front of the divinity, they were prostrating by falling on their belly, because that means total surrender. But they are still realizing that they have to distill and bring the water bottle and the fiery bottle together, and together the union of the water and the fire in the sublimation that is depicted in these birds. And you see the other picture that is on the other side of this manuscript. You see here it goes left to right to left, like in Arabic writing. Here you see the tree of life coming, and that is the miracle, that the water of the unconscious and the sun of consciousness, they join and they become one. And you see the distillation of the water can help make the red of this bottle go up through her into the tree and become the red apples for resurrection. You can see this whole miracle is given in a short illuminating picture that you see here. And the main thing is that the lady here shows how to cut off the paws of the destructive lion. Here she grabs the lion, here she cuts off the paws of the lion, in order that this energy, the lion energy, the lion power, becomes sublimated and becomes the fire to distill the whole thing here. And you see, it is a wonderful summary of the alchemical work. And here you see the picture of the paws cut off, and here you see how the lion has to be grabbed by the lady, and you see how this union of the two birds, the fire and the water, is essential. It is a German manuscript, and you have to know German to see what is written here, but I will not go into detail because, as I said, otherwise he would be still here at midnight. Now let's see what comes next. Here you see The Way of the Dream by Marie-Louise von Franz. It's conversation on Jungian dream interpretation with Marie-Louise von Franz, questions by Fraser Boa, and the film can be found on YouTube. Here you can have it in your handout. You don't have to take any note. It's all written down here. An excellent introduction to the dream world by Marie-Louise von Franz. It's really the best I can recommend to you. And the films are a unique legacy of Dr. von Franz, the unique collaborator of C.G. Jung, as her whole collected works are a testimony of what she has understood and how she was living with the unconscious. She was suffering so much from intrigue around the ladies of C.G. Jung, who were trying to bite her away and who were trying to belittle her and all that. But she was faithful throughout her life to the psychology of C.G. Jung. Now we come to the next one. Oh, yeah, here you see something I would like to point to you. Islam has to be understood symbolically in contrast to fundamentalistic comprehension. Can you see how beautiful this is depicted here? How Burak, the horse of the Prophet Muhammad, is a lady. She doesn't have a bow behind her, but she was guiding him to the seventh heaven, where he could argue with Allah about the number of prayers that you should have each day. And you remember that he was a very successful bargainer, and he could bargain it down to 5. And this is still what is holding true nowadays. And we owe that all to that Burak, who was the horse to carry Muhammad to Allah. Isn't that a beautiful picture? That is known now. And that is, oh my God. That is a picture I quickly will comment upon, but you know, I have to make it short. This is just a picture of a lady from Tehran, from Iran. And she was dreaming. I was working with her for a long time. And she had this dream of a spider, of a very, very big, dangerous spider, and she was terrified by this spider. And of course, as you know, I will also always recommend to make a picture of dreams and to visualize dreams and to try to relate to such dream images as good as possible. And you know how long it took till she could make this picture? 25 years it took her till she could make this picture. And when she could make this picture, she was surprised that something wanted to appear to the left of this spider with something strange inside. And then further to the left, still something more mysterious. And she brooded over this picture and she took it very serious. And in time, you know what happened? This picture appeared. This picture appeared. And this picture is the transformed spider lady, who is now a spider maiden. She has a wonderful dress made of spider cobs. You know, spider nets, spider cobs. And you see the different spiders who just go down and merge into the ocean again. And she became this wonderful spider maiden. And she was just emerging out of this. It was an emerging of a wonderful lady. And when she was pondering further and further and wondering what the spider maiden was saying and wanting to become, she was realizing that out of this spider maiden, this out in the vessel of the container of her picture, the emerging of the spider goddess Anahita took place. And this is the goddess of Iran. It is the goddess Anahita that this lady has been involved, and was highly sad that this Anahita was no more alive in Iran and no more respected, and she became a servant to this spider goddess. And you can see the sun and the moon uniting, and you see an egg on her head. And you can see, you know, it is very, very moving that this lady she wanted to have me to receive all these pictures, and they are here in my in the office of Sabina, who is taking the responsibility of our secretariat. You see these pictures in the back. They are all here. You might see them. I've had them framed as good as possible. Can you see them? Can you see these pictures?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Well, you see the picture right at the back of myself. That is, well, I could continue for a long time, but I don't want to eat up too much time. It is just most beautiful that she gave me these pictures, and I told her that it is my last wish that one day these pictures must go to the National Museum of Tehran, that Iran has again a witness how much her goddess, their goddess, is alive, and that there might be a reconciliation of the upper and the lower Godhead, that a reconciliation of the two rainbows can take place, and that wholeness is re-established in Iran as well. As in the whole world, it is necessary. And we will continue now. I will just show you the Uraeus serpent from the tomb of Tutankhamun, the Egyptian goddess Meretseger. And you see the pharaoh being nourished by the serpent of the unconscious, the divine water of the mother goddess of the divine Meretseger, and that you can see that the pharaoh as an adult is receiving some nourishment of the unconscious, something that our world would need badly again today. And you see here a beautiful picture of the same artist whose picture we saw before, where finally this lady, this anima, this lady with the rainbow, with the bow behind her, invisible, but in the dream it became visible, where she gives the nourishment to the old man who is nourished by this divine water. Now we come to the end, summary and conclusion. Let's make it short. The quantum leap of C.G. Jung is that he could give the context of the dream motifs by associations, personal and impersonal, and the art of dream interpretation. That is an art, and it is something that is something we have to really learn from scratch. And I am, since way more than 50 years, I am a learning person. I learn again and again. With each dream, I have to start from scratch and learn again. And the art is to illuminate the dream in its own light, as Dr. von Franz once said, with regard to fairy tale interpretation. Fairy tales are big dreams that humanity has not understood yet. That's why they continue to be told and to be important for us. And then you have the last sentence here. The art of dream interpretation is a lifelong learning, and I can assure you I am on the way. I have all to learn again and again and again. With this, I would like to round up this, honoring C.G. Jung and Dr. von Franz, and I hope it was somehow a little bit adequate. I don't know. We will find out later.
Wonderful.
All the best. And now I have promised to Samach that I would be ready for if there are some questions. don't tell me dreams. That is not possible. That I will just start to make dream analysis. We will have a madhouse otherwise. No,
Just
just
before, just before
visions.
the question, Professor Abt, I would like just to make some notes. First of all, that dreams are represent, as we learn from you, the inner journey that we cannot understand the symbol of this dream unless we get through that kind of practice of being taking the knowledge from within ourselves.
Right.
And that is really something that we cannot learn by technique or by understanding something, but by exposing ourselves to the people who really were going through this journey. So
Mhm.
when we study, for example, the life of Carl Gustav Jung, we are taking this as a way of taking the journey within ourselves. So
Right.
that's something very important to know.
Mhm.
The other note which I would like to also to mention is that mentioning or quoting Jung when he said, "We don't create our destiny; we meet our destiny."
Mhm.
So when you were speaking and narrating your life, your life is just were revealing itself to you. You were
Mhm.
just going on, and then that was revealed to you.
Yeah.
And from this direction, I would like to mention something also related to this group, which has been honored to have you as a speaker in this group or at this gathering. That is, when I was 24 years, I met Young, and I knew that something would happen for me to explain or to show my father's message. And then
Mm.
this became very dormant for a long, long time. Through
Mhm.
that time, I was going through learning and knowledge, and the things seems like they are so far from the inner journey. But as a matter of fact, they provided me with the tools to
Mhm.
understand.
Mhm.
And then the moment came when synchronicity come in my way, and then Young become uh, major. I wouldn't say personality, but major knowledge, major teaching, that is
Wonderful.
eliminating many things in my life and also in my father's message.
Beautiful.
Meeting you was something that is really amazing because we didn't expect you to see you in Luxor. And I was not I couldn't imagine myself that I as a scholar and student that is learning about analytical psychology, that I would give lecture at your institute. That was something that is not imaginable to me,
Mm.
you know. And so everything now comes like something comes, we don't know how it comes, but it came because we are going through our destiny.
Mm.
What you introduced today is actually a curriculum which I suggest that we are going to make it as a teaching processes,
Mhm.
because it cannot be just, we cannot just listen at and follow, that we
Mhm.
need to understand it more and more and more again, and we divide it and we contemplate and we ponder upon it. So it is not something like we are going just to listen and to understand and leave it. It's something that we have to work on for ourselves.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Maybe last, before any question, I would like to not just to thank you, because there are no words that can be enough to thank you, but we are honored to have you, and actually you give us inspiring, and your kindness and generosity are beyond anything that we can describe. So I'd like you to thank you so much for this opportunity and your initiative to give us this very valuable lecture. Thank you very much, Professor Abt. And I leave the people to ask you if they have any question. But as you said, nothing about personal interpretation of dreams. But we'd like to get into more deep questions so we can make use of the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Yes,
so much.
anybody would like to have a question, they can raise their hand or and then uh, uh, please
I
see.
think Azhar is raising her hand.
Yes.
Okay. Yes,
Azhar,
Azhar.
please.
Hello,
Azhar.
Theo. Nice to see you again. I miss you so much and hope to see you soon in Egypt again, like you usually did every year. Would you please go to your dream of the rainbow? I would like to interpret this dream from my perspective. Maybe it would help.
Let me see if I can find it
Yeah.
again. Dagiga.
Inshallah, you will find it. As usual, as you always say, مع الزمن والصبر. Okay.
You remember.
Yes, of course.
Right there, see. Oh my goodness. Where are you? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something is going the wrong way.
You said that there is a rainbow on
Yeah,
Earth and another one
I have to find it
below.
again. Where is it? Gosh.
Only the interpretation, the slide
Here we
with
go.
the text. Yes, okay.
Here we go.
This
Yeah.
is very good. Okay. I would like to interpret it from my side as much as I know you. I think that you are the two rainbows together. You are the one who can understand Ziggy Jung psychology, and this is the rainbow on the earth, the one that everyone can see it. But you went further with this science that you have learned about the Egyptology, so you can see the other rainbow below the earth. This is the ancient Egyptian archaeology, and you can see the roots of the collective sponges, and you can put them together, and you can interpret it further than Ziggy Jung could do, and you made this milestone to this science. I think this is how I can see your dream, and how can I understand it, that you are the Wendepunkt, you are the point of having these two sides together, the rainbow on the earth, the one above and the one below together. Maybe I don't know, but I hope that this would be something useful for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Very kind words of yours. Thank you so much. And inshallah.
Inshallah.
We have Muhyiddin. Please, if you like to have a question, please.
You are muted.
Ambassador Ibrahim Muhyiddin, please unmute.
Thank you, Professor, very much for a very enlightening presentation. I would like to second what Dr. Alia said about the work you're doing. I have joined in the last 2 years courses within the Human Foundation. Most recently, the last course was about the biography of C.G. Jung, and I found these courses extremely beneficial, very educational. As a person who dreams a lot, I can relate to much of what you said about the dreams and its interpretation. But I want to go back to something you mentioned about consciousness. You said that this is a creation of human beings that came at a later stage of the evolution. In a sense, that this you adopt the materialistic point of view that it is a matter via the brain created the consciousness, vis-a-vis what other ideas talk about the consciousness being primary, being primordial, in a sense that it was there before and something fundamental in universe, even at the level of subatomic particles. So my question is related to how do you understand consciousness and its creation, where it started? Thank you.
Thank you for this question. I think it is a very crucial point and very important that we clarify that we don't and that we don't underestimate that the so-called protopsyche in matter, as we know already that plants have an ability to have a protopsyche, and we have stones that can speak, and we have all these things are also revealed by different dreams, and it is quite amazing that if we realize that psyche and matter are in fact united, or in fact together at the beginning of of all creation, and that this separation into a material world and a psychological world, this is always to be seen together. We cannot say that the creation of consciousness just popped up, just came up in human beings like falling from heaven, but it was within creation always together, and it is just the most recent flower of evolution, that human consciousness that can reflect and that can also communicate to each other. This is something that is quite unique. Birds can also talk to each other, but we don't know what they are saying to each other, or whether they are telling their dreams or whatever. We know that also animals have dreams, but we don't know how that is taking place between them. And it is the great gift of the culture bringer, taught, or that what brought culture about with the hieroglyphs, that we can write down history, that we can have a knowledge of our ancestors, and all this. That is what makes human culture, and the continuity of human culture is so important. And that is why we have to reconnect to the pharaonic culture, because we have lost some important features of our culture by the development of consciousness. It has become too strong, one-sided, masculine logos, and the whole feminine side with the eros quality, with relationship quality, and all that has been neglected and needs now to be redeemed and brought to reconciliation with consciousness.
Thanks very much. Just to correct the name of the course that we are having, it's called The Path Towards Individuation. So we are taking the life of Jung as a way of our path toward individuation. And also that your last notice is taken seriously through our program, which is called Asl Wasl. This is أصل ووصل, of course you know Arabic. So how we are connected to the origin, to the roots. And this is very important, because if we are connected to the roots, and as you said, that we can resurrect the Egyptian civilization sustainability, but within the modern way, then actually we are going to make a consciousness shift in the world if we could do that.
Absolutely.
And that is how we are, that's how the foundation is working in these two directions. Now I have a question coming from الأستاذة رفية مختار. اتفضلي يا ريري. يعني that we call it, we don't call her رفية. It's easy to, as a friend and as a close friend, and as a wonderful trainer in the program as well.
Thank you, Dr. Alia. I first would like to thank Dr. Abt for his precious lecture, of course. And time is tight, but I had 2 points that I would like to ask about or discuss. But before, I will share a Sufi proverb that I just remembered now when you said stones can speak. So this proverb, a Sufi proverb, said, God sleeps in the stones. He breathes in the plants. He dreams in the animals and awakens in men. Okay?
Beautiful. Beautiful. And
All right.
if you know that I have started when I was a student of agriculture, I made my master's degree, and I was in despair about this incredible difficult question that I was asked to work within 3 months. I had 3 months time to answer this question, and I was so much in despair. But then I had a dream of a stone who was speaking to me and said he would give an answer to my questions. Just imagine.
Okay. So thank you, Dr. Abt. You mentioned in one of the slides the green man. The green man, it's an archetypal image. My late brother had a very, very crucial dream, seeing it was not, I'm sorry, not the slide with the green man, but the man wearing the robe, okay, the green robe. So my brother saw a dream where there was next to him a man wearing a green robe, and in a place, and years before he came and visited the place where we have our sessions with Dr. Alia Rafa at Hilmiya. He saw that dream and recognized that place years after he had that dream. And in this dream, he saw light behind the curtain that reflected like a strong light. We usually, when we see light like this in dreams, we might think that it's the Prophet Muhammad, for example. So my brother asked the man with the green robe, is this our Prophet Muhammad? He told him, no, Atif, wait a little bit. It's not time for you yet. And then years later, he came to that same place and saw the area where he saw the reflection of the Prophet Muhammad behind the curtain. And then he had an interpretation that the man with the green robe might be Sayyidina al-Khidr, if you are familiar with Sayyidina al-Khidr.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
so
perfect.
That was the other thing I wanted to share. If I'm not taking too long, if you could go back a little bit with the slides, there is one of the picture which was also related to it was just before the man with the green dress. She was the lady, I think, giving water to drink to an old man. Earlier, more. I'm sorry, more. Okay. Yes, this one. This one. Can you show the bigger picture? The next one, larger? Yeah, it is this picture. Yes. Okay, now I happen to notice many faces in these pictures. Like in the sky, there are faces of people. Not only the Ant-Man, the animus in the jar.
Here you see more.
Can you, and the white shadows, they are faces. Can you please elaborate a little bit more about these pictures? Because I have a feeling that they are spirits or ancestors.
You have also faces.
Yes.
It's all is alive. Matter is alive. That is the secret of and the wonder of this picture.
This is an incredible picture. I mean, it's like it's everything. It's
absolutely.
It's the whole world.
Yeah. It's one of the most beautiful pictures that you could imagine. Let me just see. You see, it's such a wonderful picture, and it's a whole series of pictures that he made, this author, this painter. It's wonderful. You know, see, everything is alive. You see here, you hear all the air is alive, the matter, the earth is alive everywhere you have. And it's a picture of paradise.
Yes. The tree of life. I mean, we could dream with these pictures with many things.
It's absolutely a miracle that a human being was able to create such a picture.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Abt. Thank you for your time.
Last question, I think, because we take a long time from Professor Abt, and I think this will be the last question from May. Yes, please, May.
Hi, Dr. Abt. First, thank you so much. I just wanted to say we met in 1992 in Luxor. I attended a seminar with you, and we spent a whole day in Tohotnos, and I've been searching for you for so many long, 30 years. Now I meet Samah and we talk, and I'll tell her, tell me more. And then I had this on my desk, and Samah told me, where do you know Dr. Abt? I tell her, oh, that's his name. I had been searching for you 33 years, and today I'm meeting you finally. Thank you so much, and thank you, Dr. Alia, for this perfect and beautiful opportunity. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're most welcome, and we are glad to have you with us today, May. Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Abt. Thank you, and my my gratitude, my love, my everything, all my best wishes for you and our heart together, actually. And we are working, even if we don't see each other, but we're working with one spirit and with one soul. And thank you so much indeed. And we are glad that you give us this time, this precious time of yours, and we'll you will follow our news, inshallah, and everything is going to be good as long as we keep hope in our heart. We don't have with this kind of darkness around, but we have to hold on hope, because we can do something for ourselves. Then we can really dig deep and then bring the treasure of our history again as a light of the humankind. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was absolutely inspiring to see you all and to present some of these treasures of C.G. Jung and Marie-Louise von Franz. It was a great pleasure and honor, although it was also a lot of suffering and sleeplessness. But that's part of it. One has to carry through, and I'm I wish you now all the best and prosperity to the Human Foundation. I am very happy that you exist, and I am looking forward, inshallah, to be back again in
Inshallah, inshallah. We're looking forward to.
Inshallah.